Hey YouTube, what's going on? Let's talk about home security, personal protection, in particular, the process that typically unfolds during a home invasion. Now, I've debated about how to go about this subject matter because it's very large and it encompasses a lot of different nuances, and the video would go on and on for a long time. In fact, this is probably at least the fifth attempt of me trying to make this video. And after I hit about the 20-minute mark, I noticed that I'm not even halfway through what I want to say. This is very problematic. Most likely, this would probably be best suited on a multiple part series. So I'm gonna, until I get time to do a series like that, I'm just gonna have to say that I want to condense this down real tight, and kind of just get to the real meat and potatoes. So bear with me here. If you have specific questions, feel free to put the comments down below, and I'll try to answer that. Or some of the other subscribers on the channel here could help out. And thank you for watching the video. So first of all, what we have is that home invasions can happen during the day or night. Home invasions are not just something that happens at night at all. And the sole purpose of people that do home invasions is for the sole intent that they have you there. They want you there when they rob the place because you have more access than they do typically. And so maybe you have a safe in the home. Maybe they don't even have the means or the knowledge of how to break into that safe, but you have the combination or you have the key. And so they want you there to open that safe. Or maybe out in public, you by accident showed your wallet and what was in it. Maybe you were paying for something and you opened it up and you had a big stack of hundreds. Or maybe you had a big wad of cash in your pocket and you pulled it out to pay for something. Someone took notice. This is a problem. That's why you should not carry a large amount of cash in public. Some for an emergency, but even if you do carry a lot on you, don't ever show it. At least that. But just like people who wear very expensive jewelry, some people really notice that then more so than others. So if you have a really expensive, like $3,000 or $4,000 gold watch, or even more expensive than that, and maybe some really high-end diamonds, $5,000-6,000 in diamonds, and you dress like you're a millionaire, you may be putting yourself into a position to be more of a target. Just to be honest with you, of course, this depends on where you live and everything else, but people can pick up on this, and so they may want to follow you back to your home and watch you for a while, and then they'll pick a time. Maybe when you're getting off from work, they know you're kind of tired and maybe you're not as aware, as you normally would be. Maybe your guard's down a little bit, and they may pose, and I mean they, because typically this happens in groups. They said the national average is between 2 to 3 people are involved in a home invasion, not just one. In some cases, it's as many as 4 or 5, but the national average typically is between 2 to 3. And they may pose as someone that is a groundskeeper, or someone that's asking you to do a survey, or someone that says that they have a package and they need you to sign it. So while you're walking to your house, maybe you just pulled in the driveway, they pull in behind you and they act like they have something for you. Or maybe you're already in the home and they want you to get you to open the door for them. In most cases, they want you to go in the home first and to deactivate the security system so that when you come to the door, there's no siren going to go off, and so this is when they want you to open the door to sign for something, and then that's when several people rush you and they overwhelm you and overpower you, and this is where you have the problem. Of course, now on the flip side, there could be a break-in in the middle of the night, so this can happen once again, day or night. But I just want to point out, though, this is why you don't open your door to strangers. And if you just really, feel like that you have to, always be armed. That's why people are armed even in their own home, because you never know when trouble actually gets into your home, and now you got to get the trouble out, or you got to stop the threat. So let's just say, though, this is what happens. So right there, you can deter the whole problem by not opening the door. Or if you see someone pull up right behind you when you pull in your driveway, stay in your car. Arm yourself. If you feel threatened, call the police right then and there. Even if you have to, drive your car through your own yard and get back out on the street. If there's got to be different ways that you have to look at this. Even if it goes so far as maybe you have a garage and you can open up the garage and slip in there and close it. Um, Whatever you have to do to create a barrier between you and them. So you might want to think about how you would deal with those situations. Now let's go ahead and think about at night when you're sleeping. This is where, a lot of people think of a home invasion. And I'd have to say that I don't know for sure if it's the majority of times it's at night, but I would say that's probably at least equally as much as during the day for a home invasion. So when you're at night, I mean, most of us sleep at night, not all of us, but the majority of the population, I'd say at least 80%, they sleep at night. And the other ones, they typically work at night and sleep during the day. And so what we have is our awareness, and we're not really on guard. We're pretty much just in deep REM sleep most likely, and we're getting rest like we're supposed to. And someone's breaking in, but they're breaking in knowing that we're there, and that's the crazy part. And so this is where you can deploy two possibilities or both at the same time. An alarm system just to give you a little bit of a heads up and to buy you a little bit of time to react before they get up on top of you. And it could be a monitored system or a non-monitored system, or you can also have a dog. That's the other one. And if you don't have a dog, make sure they can at least bark and wake you up. So those are the two, most popular ways to kind of to be alert or alerted to possible threats. There may be more, but that's just the most popular. We're just going to keep it at that to keep it simple. And so let's go ahead and jump real quickly on the things that you should do immediately when you think that there's a threat or attacking your home or possibly even in your home. So first of all, you need to wake up. And I mean, you may be in a dead, sleep. So you need to stand up, physically wake up. Even if you have to kind of like just move around, stand up, move around for a few seconds and arm yourself while you're doing it. Arm yourself. Obviously, there's a lot of debate on what you should have. I think you should have a long arm with a light on it and a sling. You put that on you, okay? Just put it on you. Make sure there's a round in the chamber, and you're ready to go. Because first of all, you don't know how much time you have. They could already be in the home. They could be literally just feet away from your bedroom door. And so, having your weapon right there, you can go ahead and deploy it at a moment's notice. Number two, get your flashlight. You should already have one on your weapon, but you should have another one to identify threats without having to point a weapon at the potential threat. Or it could be a non-threat. It could just be a neighbor or something that's knocking on the back door. You don't want to go to your back door with a weapon pointed at them. So having an actual flashlight is going to be a lot better. And so, and then you have your cell phone. If you've heard noise and glass breakage, obviously call 911 at that point. But if you just don't know because all you know is your dog's barking crazy, it could just see a cat. It could be an animal out there. It could be a drunk that doesn't impose any kind of threat to you. It could just be someone that just passed out from intoxication. So, you just don't know. So you're going to go ahead and possibly, if you feel comfortable with this, check it out. And in this situation, if you don't know and you don't hear anything that was out of the ordinary, you're going to probably want to go check it out. Because to call the police at that point is a pretty much overkill in most estimations. Now, if you do hear noise and glass breakage and you have a feeling that there is someone in your home and you have kids, you have a responsibility to secure the home enough to get your kids to safety. So to extract your kids to a safe location and to possibly get out of the house. But if that's not possible, then you defend the space you're in with everything and all possibles, possible types of means. Now, if you live by yourself, and you don't feel comfortable to go and search your own home and you've already called police, obviously barricade yourself in your room, lock the door, put furniture in front of the door, and put yourself at a 90 degrees angle to that door. So you have, one flank on the right or left to get a little bit more of an element of surprise. If someone breaks through that door, you would be at a 90-degree angle and you'd be at the optimum point to fire upon them or to do whatever you have, pepper spray them or whatever. Now, in the situation that that you have to go room to room and clear your own home, maybe you live like somewhere where I live, and the police response is over 30 minutes. It would take forever, and you may not have the ability just to sit there for 30 plus minutes to wait for police, and you may feel like that your life is in jeopardy if you don't check. And that's up to you. And most police will say, do not clear your own home. It's very dangerous. It's even dangerous for professionals to do it. And I totally agree with this, but there are some rare cases that you may have to, clear your own home because you first don't know if there is a threat. And if there is, you want them to be identified. And you may have, kids to protect, or who knows, so it's a very tricky thing, and it depends on what you feel is right at the moment. I can't tell you what is something you have to do. This is something you have to figure out. But if you do decide to do that and you clear, room to room, have the ability throughout the home, just in case, you run out of ammo, maybe get in a gunfire, a gunfight or whatever, that you have the ability to reload, because maybe on you, all you have is the magazine in your gun. You may not have a chest rig and, all this stuff on you. Maybe you were just lucky to grab your gun and to meet the threat head on before they got to your kids. In this scenario, this is why you would have a few places in the home, 2 to 3 in my opinion, especially on different levels of the home, that would have spare magazines and maybe even a spare handgun fully loaded. And of course, in an actual secure type of container. But it would not be a container that would require keys. It would be probably some kind of, a push button, type of a locking system, so that you don't need keys to access it. And so this is what I would do. I would have 2 to 3 handguns, okay, that could be easily concealed in these lock boxes, strategically placed at lower points, because you may be wounded and you may not be able to reach too high up. So you have to have something that's lower down to access these weapons. And I would have the weapons of the same caliber. And if you were me, I would go with the same weapon. I'd just buy like 2 or 3 of the same gun and have a whole bunch of extra magazines, probably 4 or 5 spare magazines at each location. You have like little caches throughout the house. And with those, spare magazines and a spare handgun, I'd probably have a good blade, and I would definitely have a really good flashlight as a backup in case I dropped my flashlight, or I wasn't able to pick it up. All I had time was to grab a weapon and fight, and now I'm out of weapons or ammunition. And so you would have a spare flashlight, and this is what people forget: a trauma kit, a real trauma kit with at least 2 tourniquets at each one of those resupply caches throughout the home. And that's just one idea of many. Of course, I would also have a safe room designated in the home. If you have a larger home, each floor or of the house, each level of the house should have a safe room, in my opinion, because you never know where you're going to be when trouble comes. You may be in the dead sleep up on the 3rd floor in your bedroom, and so you may have to make that your safe room. So you may want to have provisions set up there, and the door and the frame set up to actually be resistant against an attack. Just like on the 2nd floor, there should be, even if it's just a closet that's reinforced, and even in the basement and so forth. So we got to think about that. In terms of police response, it can be very fast or very slow depending on where you live. And ultimately, though, it comes down to you to take care of yourself. You can't rely on law enforcement to save your life. That's what they're not even there for. They're there just most of the time just to clean up the mess. They're not really there. At least they're not sometimes able to get there quick enough. So home invasions can happen quick. You need the means to be aware that it's happening, the means to repel it, the means to safeguard yourself from injury. That's why you need a trauma kit, and to be able to call out for help. And you should know when to retreat and when you should know when to attack, depending on the situation. You should have safe rooms, and you should practice these drills. This is kind of the best that I can do for you right now without going into too many more details, but there are a lot of things to consider, though, beyond this, like having a dummy safe. So if you do get to the point that you cannot, repel these people and they overwhelm you, you can take them to a safe that may just have a few $100 to $1,000 in cash and some old jewelry that you don't care about, and you can give that to these crooks, and they can go on. Hopefully they'll leave, versus finding your real safe. So you'd want to have things layered, a dummy safe, cheap jewelry laid out, things of that nature. This is kind of things that you have to consider, just like when you're out in public to have a decoy wallet, especially if you're in a higher crime area or in a large city and it's not uncommon for people to try to mug you. I would certainly not carry a really high-end cell phone. I would certainly not just have just my wallet. I'd have a decoy wallet, and I would certainly have a way to conceal my keys and anything of value in a more hidden location, a money belt or a neck pouch or whatever you have. Instead of just, walking around with, $1,000 watch and a wallet full of cash, I just wouldn't do that. It doesn't really make a lot of common sense. So, hey, I hope this helped on some level. If you have any other ideas, though, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for hitting the like button. You guys take care. Bonus tip. If you have the ability and the money to buy a pair of noise canceling earmuffs, electronic earmuffs is what they're called. You see a lot of people use those at ranges, and they allow you to speak at normal tones and volume. But when you have loud noises like gunshots, it actually turns on and it blocks it. And so it preserves your hearing. And it gives you a great advantage if there was a gunfight in your home. Because, even from a smaller caliber handgun can cause you to go deaf for a period of time. And if you were right next to a shotgun or a high-powered rifle going off in your home, it could actually create long-term permanent ear damage to basically give you hearing problems for the rest of your life. So you got to protect your hearing. I know there's a lot of things involved with this, but that is actually worthwhile talking about. So if you can put that in there and keep it with your home protection weapon, it's just one more part of the kit to keep you safe. Once again, thanks a lot.